Howdy, Redesert Boy here. I just thought I'd kind of complete this segment I've been doing on lever action guns, with my buddy here. Once again, we've been talking about how it's important to hydrate up for the summer, make sure you got water, make sure you're, not getting, too much sun, no heat stroke, no heat exhaustion, make sure you stay cool, don't get any sunburns and all that, but once again, we're talking about lever actions. I talked about Rossi 45 Colt, Henry 357-38 lever action big boy carbine. I talked about the Henry Golden Boy in 22, and also kind of talked about 22 in the Ruger Wrangler. But what's at the other end of the spectrum for really big rounds? So this is a little bit too modern looking, probably for our buddy here out west, but he didn't stay hydrated, so maybe he ended up this way, but he still got his rifle. Normally I have this set up on my 357-38 Henry, and right now I have it on this gun, which is a 4570, and 4570, that was used a lot in the 19th century and last century, not the last century, but back in the late 1800s. I'd say more cavalry used that. Can't remember if it was a Sharps carbine that was in that caliber, but there were different rolling block, if I remember right, and trapdoor type rifles that use that. Some of you've seen, I think Quigley Down Under was a 4570. I actually learned from another guy I've watched, like watching his videos on lever guns 50. He even has, I think it's is it a 45? No, it's a 50, not 110 or something like that. It's a whole different cartridge. It's even bigger. But anyway, so 4570 is definitely not for everybody. This is a cartridge that can be used pretty much to take just about any game animal that you want to, with the appropriate preparation and the proper hunt, I guess, from what I understand. A lot of people use these even in Africa. Of course, people use other ones, I would say probably the 416 Rigby. I think there's probably a 475 cartridge in different one. There's different ones out there that 440, was it 444 Lapua? There's all these different really high caliber cartridges, but the 4570 is a basic cartridge that goes back to the 1800s. And like I said, a lot of the other ones some of them were a different construction. They weren't lever actions, but this one happens to be a lever action. This one, in fact, is a Henry. So what is the 4570 bullet like? This is a 4570 bullet. Now, that original connotation had to do with, the size of the bullet and the black powder load and all that. But this here, if you compare it even with this 45 Colt, right, which they're both, 45 caliber. Of course, the bullet diameters are probably slightly different. Like I think 45 Auto and 45 Colt, one of them I think is I want to say it's like a 451 and one's a 452 or something like that. But anyway, they're in that 45 caliber range. This is made to, this particular one is a hard cast. So where, like, say you use a 270 or 30-06, you're getting this really high muzzle velocity, up there over 2,000, maybe close to 3,000 in some cases. And when it's an expanding bullet, it's what I understand from when people that are hunting, right, is that bullet's designed to pierce, and I guess a lot of times it goes through the lung tissue and so forth, and pierces the animal, and then causes them to meet their demise in that way. These are actually are like bone crushing rounds. This super hard cast lead is designed to just break through bone, and that's why some people use these for things like bear hunting. This is a 420 grain Garrett cartridge, This one is a more common. You could probably use it for deer. It's a 405 grain jacketed bullet from Remington. It's their core locked bullet. But you can see, at the other end of the spectrum, right? Once again, that's a 22. That's a 45-70. Okay. And this is a 38, right? And once again, as I was talking about, oops, 38's going to roll away. That's a 45 also, but that's a 45 Colt. So, Hornady makes a Lever Revolution cartridge. It's interesting. It's 325 grain. I think they make one in the 200 grains. They have really high muzzle velocity for one of these. And they do have tremendous recoil even compared to these bigger cartridges. It's really about the mass of the bullet and the speed and so forth when you get to, how much energy is really imparted to the target. But let's look at this Henry for a second. Right, this Henry here, darn, I forgot to do the stats on it, but it's got a nice strap. I happen to have a strap for it. Normally you would be without the Picatinny rail and the red dot and the 3x magnifier and stuff, but I put that on there as kind of an experiment when I was doing my other one, because I had it on my 357-38 more for kind of home defense and stuff. It also has, fixed sights on there, open sights, same thing, buckhorn sight, with the bead front sight. And we'll check and show that this is empty. It also is not a side gate loader, although they do make them now. Henry does. A lot of people have Marlins that are, or maybe Winchesters that are 45-70s, but this only holds 4 rounds. I guess you could put one in the chamber maybe, but it's a 4-round type of thing, because think about it, if you're shooting something that big, hopefully you're going to get it in the first couple of shots, and I got this primarily because right after I got my 22, I had bought a 357 Magnum. I bought the 22, so I'd have something to go plinking with or go target shooting with. Then I bought this rifle because I always wanted a 45-70. So I thought, well, if I ever move up north, like up to Montana or Idaho or Alaska or something like that, I want something that can take down anything that might come into my house, I guess, or in my area. But, and that's why I have this. This gun is, I do like shooting it. I'm kind of slowing down as I'm getting older, They do make Cowboy Action loads for this, which are much milder. But as I said, this gun's probably, without counting the weight of this stuff on here, it's probably, I don't remember the exact weight in Henry, but it's probably, something like, 7.5, maybe 8 pounds. This is a shorter barrel. I think it's 18.25 inches or something. It's their shorter, kind of their brush gun. So it's very handy for that. It's something that you can bring to bear quickly, I guess, if you were carrying it. I put these on here, like I said, as kind of an experiment. But we got our buddy here. He happens to have this here with him. He wouldn't have had all those scopes and all that on there. And it's a nice strap that they make for it. It's kind of nice because it's kind of padded, but I just always wanted a 45-70. I knew people that did do hunting when I was growing up as a kid, and they used to go to places like Montana and stuff, and they took bigger game, and that's what they used. It's not a high, a long range weapon. You're not going to shoot at hundreds of yards like a 270 or something like that. My understanding is, once again, as I said, I'm a hobbyist and enthusiast. You want to follow your state and local federal gun laws for carry and permitting and training and CCW and all that. And I'm not a hunter, but as I understand it, usually when you're hunting with these, you're going to take the game, probably depending on what you're hunting, I don't know, I think from 75 to probably 125, maybe 150 yards. You're not going to go like, you know, maybe 200 to 300 yards like you could with a 270 or farther. Some people go farther, you know, depending on what your scope or your eyesight will do. But they are very handy for being in the brush. A lot of people use those kind of things, I think, also for pig hunting. You know, it's like a lot of people, I think, like having 44 Magnum around, so especially as a handgun or something when they're hunting like that. But it's kind of an exciting round to shoot because it's pretty powerful. But like I said, I would not recommend it for everybody. It's not meant for everybody. But anyway, that shows you kind of all my lever actions. I bought that because it was something I always wanted to have, and I knew that if I had that, pretty much there shouldn't be anything that I would encounter that wouldn't be able to take care of, provided I made an accurate shot and I had time to make that shot. And so I know a lot of people, they go into the woods and you see them, well, I'm going to take, you know, the Ruger Kodiak, the 480 Ruger, you know, the, 454. So those are all great and all that, but I think most people will tell you the first choice is always, when you're out and you're going to encounter some kind of threat, especially one that's wildlife that's can really hurt you. I don't know everything, you know, moose, bear, and all that. You want a long gun, you know, that's what you really need, you know, to take them down. And those other ones are just to keep you from maybe dying, you know. I'm not going to say, you know, don't have one. I'm just saying, you know, most people have a backup like that, but that's what it's for. It's a backup, to my understanding. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the fun we had with this buddy here, you know, wearing the nice Western style shirt there and cowboy hat, and show you a little bit about the size of different calibers. And once again, you know, as Desert Boy always says, you know, oh, and the price of this, I think these are about $1,000 or something like that. I think I paid somewhere in that neighborhood for mine, maybe less. But I think, you know, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know, I'm kind of a 270 Winchester guy. You know, I kind of like the higher velocity round, although it probably begs for you to be more accurate with it than, say, a 30-06 or something where it has a little more knockdown power probably on impact. But as Desert Boy always says, right? Be safe out there, whatever you're doing. And if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye now. Right low?
You shooting at the black target?
Yeah, the bottom one, yeah.
Oh, actually,
Yeah, it's pretty well on, huh?
yeah, no, I thought you were shooting the one above it.
No, it's shooting at the lower one.
Yeah, that's spot on. And on the first round, too. Looks like you don't have to worry about wasting the entire cartridge.
Nope.
It's a little to the right from the center mass.
Yeah, looks like it, huh?
So I would say like a click or two to the left. I think you should be fine.